Right then, quick turnaround for Manchester United. Leeds United coming up next, newly promoted to the Premier League. Started off like an absolute bullet at the start of the season, fell off of late, but a very good result for them midweek against Newcastle. United themselves had a very nervy trip to Yorkshire against Sheffield United. We allowed them to take the lead early until we managed to come back with a spectacular strike from Marcus Rashford, followed it up with another couple. And we got the 3 points in the end, but it wasn't a vintage United performance. And actually, it was a very even game. And I think Sheffield United would be rightly aggrieved to think that they could have got more than the 0 points that they got out of the game. Now, Marcelo Bielsa, a man that I take a lot of inspiration from, a man that I really like the philosophies of, a man that I really like the style of. I just hate the club that he manages at the moment because I was raised right. Marcelo Bielsa, I think, is an enigma, and people will look at his trophy haul, which is insignificant in the grand scheme of things, and go, well, why has he got such a great reputation? He's got such a great reputation because of his enigmatic style, but he's also taken unfanciable clubs. I mean, who goes to Spain and takes on the Bilbao job? It's such an... You're handcuffed and handicapped from the start when you take the Bielsa, the Bilbao job. And Bielsa beat United with them. Fergie's United with them. Not this current lot of United with them. So to say that this is a man that can transform football clubs is a bit of an understatement. And from a coaching perspective, he's a man that I've got a lot of admiration for, to the point where I've literally based the way Stretford Paddock play on Marcelo Bielsa more than anybody else. So I'm a fan of his work. I'm a fan of his coaching styles and philosophies and the way he sets up his teams. This Leeds United team, prior to this season, largely famed for the 3-3-1-3 formation that he built. Phenomenal fluid football, extremely hard-working football team. But that's not what he's come into the Premier League with. And based on the lack of rotation that we've seen from him, I think it's going to be a 4-1-4-1, and I wouldn't be surprised actually before this preview goes out. The press conference is probably yesterday in real terms. Bielsa loves explaining his team selection in his press conferences, so he might have already told you exactly what his 11 is going to be. But here's my attempt at guessing what his 11 might be. So Meslier was going to be in goal once again. It'll be Cooper and natural fullback Ayling, filling in for Robin Cogg at centre-half. Usual left-back Stuart Dallas likely to replace Ayling on the right, and I think Alioski is set to start again as another attacking option from defence, which we'll get to in a bit. Calvin Phillips has obviously shone in his debut season in the Premier League so far, and I do think it's a matter of time before a real, genuine big club comes in. He's expected to sit in front of the Leeds defence, spray passes left, right and centre as a single pivot. Then they have two high-pressing number 8s in Click and Rodrigo, and they're likely to operate in front of Phillips, alongside a pair of really dangerous wingers in Rafinha on the right and Jack Harrison on the left. Patrick Bamford will be the danger man this weekend as he starts again as the sole striker. And he's also our star man. So Bamford has really stepped up under Bielsa's guidance and scored 12 goals in 16 Premier League appearances. Bamford is a focal point for this really attack-minded Leeds side, and he's averaging a goal every 122 minutes in the Premier League this season with 9 goals in 13 games. It's an impressive improvement compared to a goal every 216 minutes that he got in the Championship last term. What he does so well is that he's developed his game to be able to play off the last defender really quickly and turn and latch onto through balls that the Leeds creative midfielders are very good at getting directly to him. No player has scored more Premier League goals from open play than Bamford's 9 this season. So United are definitely going to have to try and keep this guy quiet in order to shut Leeds down. Now, I think this Leeds United team can be got at a couple of ways, and we'll talk about them after a quick message from today's sponsor. Right then, this video is brought to you by the good folks at SportsBroker. SportsBroker allows you to trade virtual shares that rise and fall depending on your team's performance. The aim is to buy shares and sell them for a higher price. The teams will rise in value if they perform well. If you win, they go up. If you lose, they go down. But it's a little bit more than that. Things like goals, shots, and possession play into it. So an emphatic victory is obviously going to see that price rise more, and an absolute kicking is going to see it decreased. But as we said, things like shots on target, your possession, all play into it. Nothing obviously as important as winning the actual games. Now, I think there's some value to be had in a couple of teams here. It's all about finding which ones you think are overvalued and which ones you think are undervalued. I'm going to go with United. I think United are getting hammered in the press at the moment. I think people's confidence around United is that we're not actually doing all that great. But do you know what? I actually fancy United, and this is a good price for United. I also think Sheffield United, I mean, yes, they haven't won a game. They're breaking records for being bad, but I think that the only way is up for these guys. So this isn't something that's going to happen this weekend. The aim with building your portfolio and your teams is to be able to make some profit as the months and the years and even the weeks lead ahead. So I'm going to go with Sheffield United because it is eventually going to get a little bit better for them, and we'll see if we can flip them over the Christmas period into some sort of profit. And I also think Newcastle are a little bit undervalued. They lost a lot of their price after that defeat to Leeds in midweek, but I actually think that they're a better team than what they're showing. Good value to be had, I think, then in United, Sheffield United, and in Newcastle. The teams that I'm going to be avoiding this week, Saints. Massive price on Saints. I think they're hugely overvalued, and I don't think they're going to rise too much more in the table. I can see them going down from here. Same with Liverpool. They sit top of the table. Where are they going from there? Yes, they could extend their lead, but realistically, I'm not really digging them, so I'm going to avoid Liverpool. And I'd also avoid Arsenal. This isn't me having another go at Arsenal, as much as I like to do that. I think that they're not a good price, and I also don't know if they're going to pick up many wins. I think this is a horrendous run that they've got coming up, and I think I'll just avoid them for now. So that's what I'm thinking for my trades that I'm going to go for this week to start my portfolio, and the ones that I am going to avoid. And like we said, the prices for these can go up and down. It depends how the teams perform on the pitch. So we're going to find out, are you able to spot some trends? Are you able to predict teams about to come into form? All of those sorts of things are going to affect whether the price increases or decreases. And you are buying and selling virtual shares in a football team. SportsBroker provides you with live stats that gives you the information all the way through the action as it happens in play. You also get your own portfolio, which will show your profit and your loss and your equity from your trades. If you join SportsBroker now, you'll get £100 first trade trial, which means you can make your first trade, and if your team drops in value after the first match, they're going to refund any losses incurred up to a maximum of £100. There are terms and conditions on that one, but if you'd like to know more, then check the link in the description. You can also sign up there. You can play straight away by downloading the SportsBroker app via iOS or Android, or you could use their website. It is UK only. You must be over 18 to play, and always play responsibly. The link, as I said, will be in the description. Now, let's have a look at my United team. Right then, the United team that I would go for this weekend then to try and beat this Leeds side looks very familiar to the one that we saw against Sheffield United midweek. I'm going with De Gea in net. I don't know the reason behind playing Henderson. I'm not sure if it's because of the De Gea injury. I'm not sure if it's because of a form. Not sure if it was because it was his former club. Not sure the reasons, but I do think it'll probably be De Gea back in goal. At the back four, I think you have to play the most settled back four that you can. It helps. Those are the sorts of things that really you can't change as much as you would like. So I'm going with Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire, and Telles. I am going to get into a video at some point later, probably not over the Christmas period because it's too hectic, but explaining how United need to improve in defence and how that actually comes about. The midfield, I'm going to go with Fred and with Pogba. Pogba played quite a disciplined role against Sheffield United. He sat in the number 6 role and he dictated play from deep, and I thought he was very good on the night. Bruno in a 10. Greenwood, who, again, I thought he had a fairly quiet game, but I reckon Solskjaer would be quite happy with him because he contributed from the right-hand side and he held his position on the right-hand side, which is something that we haven't seen Mason Greenwood do in the past. Marcus Rashford on the left, who I thought was sensational against Sheffield United, with Tony Marshall down the middle, as we don't know the current situation on Cavani, although I do think I would prefer Cavani in this team, and I'll tell you why. Set pieces have been Leeds United's trouble, very well documented, and it's something that United easily could exploit. They've conceded 24 goals in 13 Premier League games this season. 12, which is 50%, have come from set pieces, which is honestly not good enough. Bielsa's side have conceded more set pieces than any other team so far this term. United definitely have height and the aerial prowess to trouble Leeds from corners, from indirect free kicks, and that's why Telles is in the team. And technical abilities there to also work something out on the ground, as we've seen with Bruno in the past. Bruno's quality when delivering passes has only really been improved upon by the arrival of Telles. So United should be able to put dangerous balls into dangerous areas from set pieces and cause trouble in the box. Now, if Cavani is fit, this reason alone is why he plays. Because I don't know what it is about Leeds. I don't know what it is about a team that's come from the Championship where set pieces are almost the number one thing. You come from the Championship into the Premier League, you're generally pretty robust at set pieces and usually have quite a few of your own in the mixer as well. So I'm not sure why Leeds aren't. I mean, probably because they focus so much on the press, so much on the different transitional periods of the game. It might be that. It might be that Bielsa sees them as such an insignificant part of the game in terms of time-wise that he better focuses his time elsewhere. But I think you could point to the fact that they've conceded more than any other team and say, actually, mate, that's something that you do need to improve on. So set pieces, corners and crosses coming in, finding someone like Cavani who's great in the air and can find space. That's how United can definitely open up this Leeds side. Outside of that, United have got to find space in the wide areas. When Leeds attack, they revert to a bit of a 2-3-3-2 formation with the two fullbacks joining Phillips in midfield ahead of the two centre-backs and Rodrigo joining Bamford up front. It's narrow. And it's narrow and it's compact, and that was one of the keys to its success last season in the Championship. But it means that a team that goes wide and holds its width absolutely terrorises them. Marcus Rashford should have a field day against these. The attacking system is effective, and that's evidenced by the fact that there's only been 5 instances of teams registering 25 or more shots in a match so far this season, and 3 of those have been Leeds. So they're going to create chances, but as always, when you push hard on one thing, you do have to leave something else open, and they give a lot up in defensive structure. Certainly when it comes to width, they're vulnerable. Pacey attacks down the flanks while our fullbacks are isolated. United, and particularly Marcus Rashford, are going to have a field day here. Marcus holds his position, and actually we saw this against Sheffield United. Marcus holds his position, get in amongst the back of them, get in 1v1v defenders, and he will get some goals. So I'm relatively confident going into this game because I think United can open them up. United also have to be compact in midfield. The reason I've gone with Fred is you need energy. Matic would get overrun by this Leeds team because they're just going to outwork him. Pogba, not the most work-heavy player we've ever had in a United shirt, but he does have the quality on the ball, as we saw Thursday night against Sheffield United. Fred and Bruno, with the quality of Pogba, I actually think that you can cut about this Leeds team. I think it's got to be Greenwood, although I actually wouldn't be disappointed to see someone like Dan James for the reason that we can get behind him in this instance. Rashford and Marshall or Cavani, if at all possible. And I think we're going to be all right. I would also lean towards Tuanzebe over... Honestly, I don't know who the weak link in defence is at the moment, whether that's Lindelof or Maguire, because I think they've both got clangers in them. And even though we've seen some fantastic balls from Lindelof of late from the back line, it's not enough of a reason just to keep him in the team because, I mean, he basically got an assist against Sheffield United. Maguire, I've seen people really pouring the blame on Dean Henderson, and I think in a way that's valid because there should always be the nuclear option of just punt it long if in doubt. But when the ball comes back to him, if you look how long he has between taking a touch and being pressed and losing control of it, it's not long. It's not like he had hours on the ball and just fluffed his lines, which tells me that the pass either was the wrong pass or not quick enough from Maguire, and I think it was the wrong pass. I think he had Telles in space. Didn't Dean Henderson's passed it him and probably not expecting it to come back to him from a player that's basically inside the 6-yard box. You don't pass the ball across your own goal. Certainly from there. Maguire as a captain, as a leader, needs to do better than that. I'm listening to Fergie's book again, Leading, one of his better ones. And I think there's something that Fergie says in there, which he says, once the players cross the white line, the responsibility for performance falls on the captain. This is Fergie talking. And when you think of some of the people that Fergie had as captains, and you think of some of the performances that Maguire's put in as a captain, I think it shows where a lot of the issues in this United team stem from. You can't drop your captain because it's very political to do that. But to be honest, I'm not sure he's doing enough to warrant starting with impunity every single week. And for me, United's weak link at the moment is in schoolboy errors in defence. Some of that might be coaching, some of that might be systematic, but a lot of it is down to the individual player. And that, for me, is where United have to get better. And that's where United have to improve. Like I said, I'll probably be doing something that goes a little bit more in depth on the defence and the defenders, but that is going to be probably after Christmas because it's wild at the moment. But anyway, that's the team I think is going to beat Leeds United. That's how I expect Leeds United to play, and that's how I think Manchester United can get amongst them. If you like this sort of video, let me know in the comments. I'm thinking about doing some tactical explainers of some of Fergie's great teams as well, so let me know which of those you would like to see. Get your comments and everything like that and questions in the comments below. And shout out to SportsBroker for sponsoring this video. Make sure to go check them out and let me know if you are going to be giving it a go and how you get on this weekend. Link for SportsBroker will be in the description. Make sure you're over 18 and please be gamble aware. See you in the next one.